You made it through week one. All right. I do have two thumbs up here. Both aren't showing. There they go. So behind me, you can see a huge stack of paper. That's what your resumes look like. And I get to somebody. That's what my resume looks like when I send it out to somebody. And we're going to talk about that. I know, isn't that horrible? But it's true. We all think that when we send a resume to somebody that we're like one of five or six people, and it could be hundreds or thousands of people all applying for one position. So we're going to talk about ways we can kind of make ourselves stand out. So, but we've got a little bit of housekeeping before that. So I want to go ahead and do that first. So number one, we went through week one. Week one's grades are posted through Sunday. I'm very open and upfront about everything. If you don't do something, I can't grade what I don't have. So if you didn't turn something in, zero. Yeah, that's the way that grading system works. Nothing equals zero. See how the math adds up there? Math is math. So if you didn't do something, contact me, see what to do about that. One thing that's difficult to deal with, those are those daily assignments, and those daily assignments, they impact you more than you might realize. So definitely do those daily assignments. Those are the ones that are based on the live session with me. Da, 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 and watch the recording, turn those in. The reason why we have you do those, part of that has to do with how you get certified, how you get that degree, and what you have to do to qualify for those certifications and degrees. So we're not doing it just because we were sitting around one time late night trying to figure out how to annoy you. Trust me, I can be far more creative than that. Uh, uh, but it is what it is, so that's what we have to do. So the other thing is the information we are giving you in these classes, it's very important. There's going to be things in here you're going to go, oh, so that's why my resume's not being picked ever. That's why it's never being chosen. That's why I'm never getting a call back. How many people are out there filling out job application after application, either online or in person, and getting absolutely nothing back? Happens all the time. You're hearing absolutely nothing, just wind blowing. I can't be the only person this happens to. It's like you fill out application online, 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 absolutely nothing. Oh, great. You guys get hits all the time. So then you don't need it. Okay. Caitlin, this happens to. Yeah, it's quite common. Giovanni, yeah, it's quite common. You hear nothing back. Well, believe it or not, a lot of it isn't your fault. Okay. It's because you're not aware of things that are going on that's preventing you from getting chosen. Kind of like the little aliens in Toy Story, choose me, choose me. There is a reason for it. And so we're going to try to give you some tips and tools to help you get around that. And part of it starts with the resume. So let's get to getting here. I'm going to start with some screen share here because got quite a bit to cover, and I want to get you in and out as quickly as possible. I know that lecturing is never the fun part, but unfortunately, it is a necessary thing. So, those of you who, if you need to go back to find out what to do on an assignment, if you click on that button where you do the connection, your past recordings, if you go in there, there's all the recordings. If for any reason you do not get a text or an email with the link from the night's recordings, check in here to see if it has been added in there. If for any reason you do not get that. Okay, so week one is done. We move on to week two. Okay, and week two is midterm week. Okay, now I want you to take a look. Everything here open Monday, 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 except for the daily assignments. Everything is open all the way down, including this midterm. Now, I don't want you to just jump ahead and do the midterm. Some people do this and they don't have all the information. Pay attention to what is coming up through the week. Now, I like to make sure my students have everything they need to do that. Now, how many people are getting ready to go? Do you do a study guide? Anybody out there thinking, do you do a study guide? Yeah, how many people like that? Now, I'll tell you this. I have found that if I do a study guide, there are going to be people that are out there. I spent hours Googling. Why? If I sit here and I tell you, I will give you everything that you need so that you spend the least amount of time researching, believe me, I am as honest as I am ugly. Okay? Listen to me. Why would I want to make things more difficult for you for no apparent reason? Okay. So is everybody watching? This is not a fancy dancy magic trick. I've got nothing up my sleeve. So watch this. I'm going to go over here to the home screen. Or see this? This is the home screen. This is where you should be going. See this big red button that says help? I'm going to click on it, right? And look right here. There's all kinds of information. And what does this say right down here that I just highlighted? Midterm study guide. Now, if I was a clever person, I would think, I wonder if that's a study guide for the midterm. Ta-da! I think of you guys often and I want the best for you. Okay? I don't want things to be difficult. So let's take a look at this. So I click on it here. Now, you'll see that there are wonderful watermarks I put across here because I don't want you to just sit here and copy and paste and copy and paste because this used to be a lot of fill in the blank. Okay. Now, that wasn't the purpose of the test. We have changed the test for you guys this month. You are the first students to get this version, right? Are you happy about that? Yes, this is where everybody says, yes, we're happy to get the new version. Because I could go back to the old one where everything is pretty much you have to write short answers to everything. So everybody's happy about the new version. Yes, because the new version is mostly, almost all, not 100%. We couldn't get it 100%. We tried multiple choice. Okay, so almost all of this test will be multiple choice, and you will find the answers in this study guide. So I strongly recommend you have a copy of this study guide with you when you do the midterm. Now, I had a person complain. The wording on the study guide wasn't exact to the wording on the questions of the midterm. My response was, I don't care. You do have to think a little in life, okay? Harsh reality. Everything is not going to be exact. You're going to have to read a little here and understand the questions are not 100%. Okay? You're going to have to do a little bit of thinking to understand the concept of the questions and these answers. Okay, they're never going to be 100% exact word for word, but you should be able to understand them. All the answers to the midterm are in here if you take a look, and they're broken up by chapters. So I provide that to you. Please utilize this. It will help you. Now, almost 100% of the people did the bonus question for the 5 points on the midterm. If you did not do that midterm bonus point question last week, too bad. That cannot get an extension. I don't feel sorry for people who do not take advantage of bonus points. Okay? I go out of my way to make everything as equal and fair and all the opportunities available as possible. However, there are people who try to take advantage and want everything given on their own terms. It does not work that way, and I would not be setting you up for a good career if I cater to everybody's do this for me. All right? Everybody understand that? Okay. So I hope you're aware of all the things that I'm setting up for your success, but at the same time, work has to come back the other way. And just so you know, you all did incredible the first week because going to an online class is never easy. And so that first week transition is difficult, and almost everybody did exceptional all the way through it. Few hiccups, but those are being corrected. And the people who are correcting them, I applaud you for reaching back out because that is always a little awkward. And I want you to know that if you ever miss something, communicate with me, and I'm more than willing to work with you as long as you're willing to do the work. All right? So things happen and we fix them. And when you're on the job, if something goes wrong, always know if somebody comes up and says, "Hey, did you do this by chance?" 90 some percent of the time, they have the answer and they're checking to see if you're going to give the correct answer back. Always be honest because that will be the shortest and least painful of any outcome. Okay? Don't try to divert the truth. Just be right up front and be honest because no matter what the outcome is, it will be the least painful. All right? I appreciate that. I really, really do. Okay, so we got that. The midterm study guide. Look below there. See you on the final week there. I got a final study guide for you too. While we're on here, I want you to look at this skills needed by your career. We're going to click on this for a minute. Notice I've broken this down for you. Welders, electricians, HVAC, medical assistants, vet assistants. Like if I click on the vet assistants here, here is a wonderful thing here. And if you scroll down here, it talks about what are vet tech skills, and it tells you these are skills that you should have, okay, and explains them. Okay, these are things that you want to be able to have on your resume, okay? These are good things that you'll be able to have and you'll want to be able to put on your resume that you'll be able to develop. So that's a good thing to have there. Another good thing is like, here's for welders, it talks about 37 essential skills. And there are things in here that you may not think about. Math skills, your physical skills that you need to have, your attention to detail, and different things here. Talking about even robotic welding, basic computer and office software. A lot of welders don't think they're going to need this. This is now a requirement in welding. So take a look at those. Very important to have those things in there. Another thing that we're going to talk about keywords. You're going to hear this a lot in this class. Your resumes need keywords, okay? Keywords are very important words that you're going to have on your resumes, and these are trigger words. These allow your resumes to be picked up by automatic resume scanning systems so that you get pulled even for a chance to be interviewed. So take a look at if you're an electrician, HVAC, welder, vet tech, medical assistant. Vet assisting also falls under the vet tech, so don't think you've been left out. And you'll see like animal restraints, animal work, animal handling, radiology, dogs, things like that. These are different resume keywords that should be somewhere located on your resumes. Okay. HVAC, things like boilers, brazing, EPA, building, ductwork, stuff like that. So we're going to talk about those today. So take a look at that help button under here and some of the different things that are in there because they're very important and they can help you out. Everybody got that? Everybody know where to get that very important information and why I put that out there for you. All right. So in week 2, let's take a look at it. Okay. So you're always going to have a discussion somewhere in here. And so we'll find that here in a minute. Um, in here, you're going to have another scheduling. Now, some of you have already scheduled your uh, resume interview. We also have a mock interview. Now, some places will let you do both at the same time. Most of them want them done in separate ones. That's why it's two different assignments. If they let you do them at both at the same time, that's fine. That is up to the campus. But again, you're going to schedule this one for a mock interview next week, though. This week you're doing your resume. Next week you're doing your mock. Now, some of you had indicated that you had already done a resume with Career Services. If so, that's fine. What I need though is this week when you turn in that resume, it has to have their signature on it. If it doesn't have their signature on it, I cannot accept that resume. So please make sure if you've already done one with them and you did not set up an appointment, it's got that signature. And if it doesn't have that signature on it, I can't accept it. Contact Career Services and just ask them to sign it, and then you're good. Once I have that, then I can update your grade for both assignments, okay? Now your mock interview, you're going to schedule that. And what's going to happen in that mock interview, you need to take that resume with you just like you're going to a regular interview. Okay, and you're going to be asked questions just as though you applied for the job, and that interview is going to be related to your position. So if you're an HVAC technician, you're going to be asked questions according to that position. If you're a vet assist, you're going to be asked questions about vet assisting. Welder, you're to dress for your interview. Okay, don't come in flip-flops and shorts and everything. You need to be dressed appropriate as though it were a real interview. These will be conducted on your campus. Now, if you can't get to the campus or anything like that, you need to discuss this with Career Services about the possibility of a virtual interview. It's very important you do the virtual interviews or the mock interviews because it affects the scheduling assignment, the actual mock interview assignment, the debrief assignment. So that's 3 assignments. And then there's a thank you letter assignment. So it affects 4 different assignments. So this entire process affects 4 assignments. So please make sure you participate in. You're going to learn incredible information because you're going to find out exactly how well you really do in an interview. They're going to tell you about your posture, how well you talk in it, how well you answer questions, how well you keep on topic, how well you present yourself in every way. Do you fidget? Everything that you do in that interview, you're going to be analyzed and you're going to find out how well you do from the perspective of the person who does the interview. So this is information that you don't find out about when you're actually going for a real interview. All right, everybody understand? So this week, what you're going to do is you're just setting up the appointment. And I need to adjust these dates. Obviously, this is not Monday 5/20 through 5/23. These dates should be reflective of next week. All right, everybody good on this one? All right. You'll find you'll learn a lot from this assignment and it can be quite entertaining too. Okay, now resume keywords. Now this one, please pay attention to this assignment. So what you're going to do here is we're going to have you go out and you're going to look up jobs. Okay, you're going to use the internet, you're going to go out and you're going to look for jobs on the internet. And what I need are 3 web addresses of the job postings. Okay, and I need to the hard skills that are in common in those job postings. and the soft skills or the employability skills. So what you'll do is come up here and type in like welder, or actually I should say welding jobs. Okay. And so if I clicked on entry level welding jobs, that's not the one I want there. Here we go. I start to see right here. Now here is what I need to copy down here for the web addresses. Now I can find 3 jobs in here, that's fine. And then what I'm looking for are the different specifications. Like this one is read and interpret drawings, etc. Set up welding machines. So I need 3 things that are in common between them. Okay. Operating machines, da 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 da. So I'm going to go through it and I'm going to find different jobs and I need the information from them. Like this is KT of Central Florida. This is Dero of Lakeland and maintenance and reliability technology. Bring that information back, click start text entry and put down the information. So I can use it all from here, but please list the 3 different companies. Okay. Are there any questions about that? So I want you to go in and that would be, those are the hard skills. And then if I click on here on the job details, let's see if it gives any further details. Let's see if it's got any further details. Operating metal, da 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 da. Let's see. Pass a weld test, blueprint reading. They don't give really a lot of information on the soft skills on this one. So you may have to find some other ones. If they do not specify the soft skills, please put that in the listing here. Soft skills not specified. All right. That way I know that you did look and you could not find them. Because some job listings are not very specific, and I don't want you to be left out because of that. All right. Now, tomorrow we'll go over what exactly is an elevator pitch and your discussion if you want to get started on this one for tomorrow. How many of you have had a horrible interview? One that just went bad? Anybody have an interview go bad? I know I had. Shane, yeah, a couple of you. So that's what this week's discussion is. Tell us about your worst interview ever, or if you've never had a bad interview, tell us about your best interview ever. If you've never had one, explain what you would do to have a best interview. So just come down there, click reply, tell us about it. And that'll get you enough to get going for the week uh, as far as that's concerned. And because I want to go ahead and get started on our discussion, because I don't want us to be going too long. All right. So here we go. Let me get over to this one. And so going to start off something serious here. It's National Suicide Prevention Day, and so I care a lot about my students. And so if anybody knows anybody or if anybody themselves ever does uh, ahead and do something incorrect, it's not all lost. I'm going to tell you what went wrong if you did something wrong. You have your speaker on. We're
A
hearing
lot
the
of times
recording.
people don't tell you what you did right. So in your
Am I on?
Yes, yes.
Yay!
Okay. All right. So if anybody out there is feeling like they are in trouble or they have a need, please, this 9888 number, it works just like 911. It is a suicide prevention hotline. So please keep that number in case you know somebody who is in need. All right. So I just wanted to point that out since it is National Suicide Prevention Day. All right. So today we're going to talk about resumes. Everybody needs a resume. Sometimes people in trades think that they don't need a resume. Resumes are extremely important, no matter where you're applying for. It doesn't matter if you're applying as in a shop, in a lab, in a vet clinic. Resumes are extremely important because they are your foot in the door before you even get to interview or to speak. And we're going to talk about those keywords some more, why those are so important. We're going to talk about the parts of a resume, types of resumes, and formats and what they're used for. We're going to mention briefly non-traditional resumes because they don't really apply here, and professional references. All right. So a resume is a written document, and it's also what we call a living document because it is always changing. Okay. And it never is complete. It'll never be complete. And it lists your qualifications for a job, including your work experience and education. And what that does is when the employer gets this, it is their first real contact with you. And it's telling your story. And what they're hoping is that it matches what they want. Okay. And it matches those qualifications. And it actually should be updated for every job application. And what that means is when you're reading those job applications and they have 5 items, the order in which those items are in that application, that's the way you need to stack your resume. If you have those 5 items on your resume, but they're way down on your list, you move those up to the top because you want that employer to see you have those things immediately. If they have to read through 10 or 15 items to get to those, you know what they're going to do? Throw it in the trash. They don't want to have to work to decide if they need you. Okay? So you're not going to get there. Okay? I told you I'm very upfront. I'm very straight with you when it comes to these. I help people hire people. And so I'm telling you the way it is. If they have to work to decide to hire you, they're not going to. It's not in it for them. All right. So look at the order in which they list things in their job listing. Move the items around, and that's the resume you send them. Okay. So that's why we do it. And that's why we have what we call a resume template. Okay. So keywords in the job advertisement relate to the function of that open position, and they're often nouns or phrases, okay? And these are trending keywords. So in your career, you need to know your career and you need to know what is trending. How many people read up on their career? You read about what field you're going into. You read trade magazines, you read online. How many people are keeping up with what's going on in your career field? Is anybody? Okay, I see one thumb up, 2 thumbs up. You need to know what's going on current. Okay? You can't go by just what people are talking about in the shop. Okay? That's gossip. Okay? That's gossip. Okay, you might as well be standing out there hanging up clothes on a clothesline, talking about, the neighbor down the road. You need to know what's going on in your career. That's how you are going to move ahead even more. Careers take work. Okay, you want to advance. You are worth this. Okay, you are worth putting the effort into. So this is what you want to do. You want to know what is trending. What is the latest going on in your career? Okay, so you're going to read these job advertisements and then you're going to identify keywords, and those are going to be on your resume. Because if they're not on your resume and they're on somebody else's, that other person's getting the job. Okay, and when you have matching keywords, that's what gets you your responses, and without them, you get ignored. All right, so let's take a look at this. Okay. Keywords in a job post. I've got them highlighted here. Reading and interpreting blueprints and schematics to determine specific welding requirements. Okay, keywords, blueprints and schematics. If you're a welder and you have blueprints and schematics on your resume, that's going to trigger boom, boom. Okay, that person has what I need. Setting up and maintaining welding equipment, including selecting and installing torches, torch tips, filler rods. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Selecting the appropriate welding process for the job, such as MIG, TIG, or stick welding. Do you see where these are coming from? Right there.
Yes.
These are in the job listing. Those need to be on your resume. You can't just say, I do welding. You have to break everything down and use these very specific things on your resume. We talk generally. I'm a good welder. How are you a good welder? Well, I do MIG and TIG and stick welding. Okay. Can you read blueprints? Yes. Why didn't you tell me you read blueprints? Can you read schematics? Yes. Okay, I need you to tell me these things. I shouldn't have to ask for every single item and pull it out of you. You need to be very specific and know what you know. That's going to be a thing you're going to hear me say over and over. You need to know what you know. Anybody use Indeed, Monster, or any of these job sites? Anybody ever use those to look for jobs? Yeah. Yeah. Anybody use any online job things? Yeah. Okay. So they use what we call ATS, automatic tracking systems, or ADTs. Okay. Automatic data tracking. It's not security. So what that's going to do is these companies put a job listing out there and all these people apply. Now, what that system's going to do is it's going to say, these are the job requirements, pull every resume that has inside it the words that match these job requirements. So what happens if you don't have those keywords? You never get selected. It doesn't matter. You could have 30 years incredible experience, but if you don't use the keywords out of that job listing, you will never be selected. You will never get the chance to talk to anybody, ever. Okay? So do you see why you're not being pulled? You're not given the chance because you're not using the words from their own job listing. So if you're not putting those on your resume, and if you only have one resume and you're expecting that resume to work for every job you're applying for, it's not necessarily always working. Okay? So that's why we use multiple resumes. We use one main resume and then we make a copy of it and we modify it for the jobs we want. Okay?
Understood.
So that's one thing. The other thing, and this a lot of people don't know, if you apply today, when Sunday comes around, you no longer exist. Because after Sunday, every time they select resumes and job applications, they only will select the current week. So you're only good for a week. If you apply for it on Saturday, when Monday comes, you're no longer good. So you have to do what we call a Sunday plan. And we're also going to talk about that later in the class. So every Sunday, what you have to do is you have to go in there and you have to update all your applications so that when Monday comes and they pull those applications, you get repulled. Okay? So your resume is broken down into different sections, a heading, a summary, a skills, experience, education, and then there's some optional sections. Okay, so let's take a look at them. Okay, so the heading is your full name, your phone number, your email address, and you can put the city, but we don't put our street number and house number anymore. We used to, but now that's a safety hazard. We do not use our full address anymore. Okay, so you have your legal name. You can, for your address, what we can do is, you can put like Central Florida or you could put Orlando, Florida, but you don't give the whole address. You can have your phone number and a professional email address. Okay, so let's talk about that professional email address. It can be your first name, your last name at gmail.com, etc. But don't put on there, I'm too hot for you at gmail.com. Okay, that's not good. You have to have a professional sounding email address. Okay, those cute ones, no, they're not good. And any social media sites. So if you have a LinkedIn account or something like that, you can put that on there. So they have a way of getting a hold of you. Now the summary, this briefly describes your strengths and core sets. Okay, so these skill sets, these core strengths, things like that. What you don't want to put on there is you don't say, looking for a position, any position, anything like that. What that sounds like is you're desperate. Okay, you're willing to take anything. No, we're changing this whole scenario. Okay, we are not the victim here. You are in control of a career now. And there's a different perspective and a different mindset. What you're going to do is you're going to say, I am an electrician with residential experience and seeking employment in this region. Okay, notice that you are not saying willing to, do this and this and this and this. You're being brief. You gave a quick example of what you can do. All right. That is what you're trying to do. Brief description. Your heavy skills are listed further in the application down there or in the resume. So that's what you're trying to do in that summary. So brief overview of qualifications or what we will call a personal brand statement. And you're going to see that later on. We're going to talk about those personal brand statements. And so that's very, very important. I want you to start thinking a little bit differently about how we are going to present ourselves here. Okay. Lost my cursor here. Hold on one second. Now your skills. Your skills section are both your hard and your soft skills. Now remember your hard skills, that's like, your physical skills that are related directly to your job. Your soft skills, those are like your people skills, your problem solving, your thinking skills, your reading skills, your writing skills. All those skills get listed and each skill is separate. Don't combine and make them general. And you can make them 2 columns and they can be bulleted with, the little dots beside them. And you're always going to stack them in the order in which it's related to that application. So you can move that list around. It doesn't have to be permanent. So every time you apply, like if I'm applying to General Motors, I'll make a copy of my resume and then I'll name it General Motors resume and I'll customize it for them. Then if I was going to do one for Ferrari, I would say Ferrari resume. I'd make a copy and I'd adjust it for them so that each one is a little unique. Okay. Make sure those skills, the way you describe them, use those keywords like I showed you in the list on the help buttons. Try to use words that are related to your field, okay? And be honest. Don't lie, don't fib. If you can't do something, don't put it on there, okay? You'll be found out. And then your education. Okay, if you're no longer a student, then it's the year you graduated, the type of degree, and then a major. Okay, so if you're still in school, you don't say student. You put expected graduation date and the date you expect to graduate, and then the type of degree, the school name, city, and state. You don't say student. Okay, so let's start calling ourselves by the career we're in and start dropping the word student. Start thinking of ourselves as our career. Okay, that's a much better thing. Start thinking of ourselves as our career. And then experience. Okay, so now let's look at this. We don't put as much detail under the experience as we used to. Name of the company, the city and state. We don't need the whole address, just city and state, the start date and the end date for the employment, and then anything you did for the job, kind of a little bit of what you did there, and anything major that you may have done. And if any keywords that you can use that match anything in that job application, please put them in there. Again, you're trying to hit as many keywords as possible. Now, there's 3 different types of resumes: timeline, skills, and a combination. Okay. And timeline is also known as chronological. You heard the term chronos, things like that. It means time. Okay. And so a timeline means everything is listed in time order. Boom, boom, boom. Start to beginning to end. Okay. And some people will do it in reverse order, but everything is start to end. Skills resume is best if you have a lot of work experience. You want to list all your work and skills up at the top. And then there's the one that's most common is a combination. And so it has skills and work experience in timeline order. So now, this is something that's definitely going to be on the resume, on the midterm, and that's how you save your resume. Okay, so always save a master copy. Okay, keep a master copy. This one you do not send to the employers. Okay, and then you save a copy to send, and you send it as a PDF. Okay. And the reason why you send a PDF is because it keeps all the formatting intact. So the way you send it is the way that person's going to see it. That's the way a PDF is, okay? You don't send them a Microsoft Word document. You send a PDF. The other way to save it is what we call plain text. There's an option called plain text. If you're using an online source to fill out an application, save your resume as a plain text. When it asks you to upload your resume, upload the plain text version, and almost every item on that website will be filled in for you. It'll fill in your name, all your work history, everything. It will pull from that plain text resume and fill it in for you. So there's a reason why we save them in different formats. The Microsoft Word document allows you to edit. The PDF is what you send to an employer, and the plain text allows you to upload and fill in those websites for you. Everybody got that? Yes? That's why we have those different formats. They work differently. And if you know how to use them, they will save you a lot of time. Now, non-traditional ones, there's two most common ones are web-based and visual, and those are usually done for people who are in the arts or things like that, because they can be very visual, and they let them create web pages or video type resumes. We don't typically get into them because they're not that used that common, even in those industries. Okay, so before you send a resume out, proofread it. Everything. Check your dates, spellings, everything. Run that spell checker. Read each line for clarity and make sense. Even though the words are spelled correctly, they may not make sense in the sentence. Make sure when you read it makes sense. Make sure the formatting and everything looks good and use a checklist. Now, everybody heard of a reference and a professional reference. There is a difference between a professional reference and a reference. A professional reference knows you from your work. Okay? Please make sure you know the difference. Don't put on their, your best friend just because they get along with you. They need to know your work if it's a professional reference. It's someone who knows an applicant's skills, talents, or personal traits and is willing to recommend you. And before you give out a professional reference, remember, it's your reputation as well. And have this list when you go to an interview. And it should be a formal formatted list like this with your name at the top, says professional references, your phone number, your email, etc., just like your resume. Now, this is a question that is on the midterm and so many people miss it. Yes, your name is on your professional references. That way we know who it belongs to. All right. And then there is the references down below. Okay? Everybody got that? Any questions about resumes? Okay, notice I didn't go into the actual writing of the resume because that's what's going to happen in career services when you go over that. All right? So for tonight, I want you to be very specific with this. I want you to list 3 things you learned about resumes tonight. And I want you to be specific what those 3 things are, because I wanted you to get more used to being very specific in how you describe things. All right? So not generalized, but very specific. 3 things that we talked about here, or I talked about. And that is the question there. That resume is so important, and those keywords. Please take a look at those keywords. Find out what those are for your career and how important those are. And I will be quite honest with you, when people apply and I'm going through those resumes and we're narrowing down those piles and we're going through there, it's things like misspellings, they're gone. No keywords, they're gone. That's what starts narrowing it down. When you're wondering what it is that's narrowing down the piles, that's what's getting the piles down. And then when it gets narrowed down, then that's when you're actually looking at, okay, what's the experiences that these people have? Because all these jobs are very detailed oriented. And if they're not paying attention to the details, are they detailed oriented? You may think it's being nitpicky, but these have to be detailed jobs. And if they're not being detailed about applying for a detailed job, are they the correct fit? If they don't want to put forth the effort to get the job, are they going to put forth the effort once they have the job? So you have to get inside the head of the person doing the hiring. Are they going to put forth the effort? Are they going to do the detail? What are they going to be like once they're here if I can't get them to do it before they're here? Okay, so those are the thoughts that I want you to think about from the other side. Okay, and then once we get into the interview, I want you to start realizing that you're the one in control, not the person doing the interviewer. So it's going to be an interesting time. Your thoughts are going to start turning. All right. So I hope you're going to enjoy this. Okay. All right. So get that in, get that done by 10 o'clock. And if there's no questions, I will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Y'all have a good evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for helping me out today, Dr. Haley.
Absolutely. Thank you for all your
finally
efforts.
figured this thing out, man. I finally figured this thing out. I couldn't get to it for nothing.
I tell you, it can be a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, I was on the wrong thing, and I came here before, but didn't know if I should have proceeded. And today I said, let me take a chance. And so
There you go.
I'm on here. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks again.
Well, welcome online.
Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna get this. So these two questions, they have to be in how many words?
No word limit. I want you to answer
Okay.
honestly. Your
Okay,
honest
okay,
answer
specific.
will be the right number of words.
Okay, all right. And that's
Thank
gonna
you.
be in the message, right?
You do it in the assignment. Here, let me show you. I'm going to go to the screen right here. So in week 2,
Okay.
this is the Monday live conference participation
Uh-huh.
assignment. You click right
Uh-huh.
there. You click start assignment, that green box up in the corner, then text. And then right here, you will type your answer and then say submit assignment.
All right. Works for
All
me,
right.
buddy.
Yep. Every day there's one. So there's will be one tomorrow. Under Wednesday, there's the assignment, and then there's one for Thursday.
Sounds good
Okay.
to me.
All right. You got it.
Yep.
Okay. Y'all have a good one now.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Did I miss something important?
I was showing where to find the daily assignment in the week.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't miss the questions for today.
No, did you see the question for the day?
No, I just logged in. I just got off work.
Oh, then you missed the class.
Oh, okay. I'll go to the recording. That's fine.
Okay, yeah, the class is at 6 in this one, not 7. So,
Okay. Sorry.
whereas the computer class is at 7. So that's why.
Okay, no problem. I'll do the
Okay.
recording. Thank you.
Okay, you got it, Ashley. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.